We're going to do a remote scan, a deep dive scan
Yeah.
for Jack.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what we're going to focus on and look into.
Well, in the past, Jack and I talked. Amazing person, and he has this thing with like his energy is depleted. Like he has a great lifestyle and everything, but his energy, no matter what he does, is like it's just like exhausted, not too energized, not too motivated and stuff like that. We did a session on him in the past where we found out like he's a walk-in. Before entering and becoming a walk-in, his soul got fractured, and all these parts that were empowering him, and he was using it to help out the multiverse and lots of other planes and planets and stuff. That was really taken away, and so right now all the like most of the energy was like taken back from him. So we did a session to get those parts back, but we should look deeper because his issues are like basically regarding the energy. Like he needs to have more energy, and as if like all that is being taken away from him. And also like like we can do more than that. Find anything else that's in there.
Yeah. Okay. Do we know when it started? Did you mention about how long? You got any rough idea of when the energy drain started, or when he realized he was a walk-in, or how old the body was when he walked in?
Well, more like you like in the childhood there was this like incident in childhood, and that was like when the walkout was taken away and the walkout was came in and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, that was a rough start, I guess.
Okay. So, have you got an idea or a feel for where you want to start? Or you just a little two-way communication here to kind of get focused in a little more?
Well, uh, I can scan this body again, tune in, see if there's anything else that I might have missed last time, or maybe we were not focused on, and any kind of affinities, any kind of agreements, other connections in past life, decisions, whatever. Um, just go from there.
Yeah. We got some reads on entities and agreements. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, especially agreements. Okay. I'll let you get started.
Yeah, focus on.
Okay, take your time.
I'm like scanning his body, and I'm noticing like there are these entities. They're kind of like hounds, like something between the dog figure, and then we have these gargoyles.
Gargoyles, yeah.
Yeah, so those, it's like a mix between those two, like a hybrid. And those entities are like, eating the energy. They're like around people, like usually in the corners of the house, because like they like hanging and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, whenever they can catch it, they're like gonna try to consume it or like sort of drain them. And it's done sort of, I don't know, like slowly, but with a big force. So like, it's done in a way where you don't notice it, but that energy is being taken away like in a like you can wake up and you lose your thoughts or you lose your thinking. You have this great idea, and that's being like sort of consumed and taken away from a person. And at the same time, like same with energy, same with like getting exhausted and stuff like that. That's what I'm picking up so far.
Okay. Um, you want to scan out more of the situation first, or you want to deal with these entities first?
Yeah, I can take care of these entities first and go from there. Like scan more and just find out like what's up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like interesting. These gargoyle-looking beings, uh, very much like we walk around in the city and we can see the statue of them and they're like stone and stuff. So they act in a very similar way where it can be like around people, and it can be around our loved ones or just like in any kind of surrounding or in the environment, and then they become like a rock and they don't move, and they merge with the environment. So you can't tell like is anyone there, like you might feel like something's off, but they're like sort of like making sure like they cannot be seen or whatever, and they sort of try to disguise themselves and just like merge with surroundings and feel like, oh, it's your loved one, it's okay, like but they can actually be around people we like or love and stuff, and they're the ones that will be behind them and still try to suck our energy. So just saying.
I see. Yeah, it's like they're kind of camouflaging themselves from people who do have psychic abilities to normally see entity stuff. They're like hiding in that way. Uh,
Just in general, like the people don't necessarily need to have the psychic abilities, but these beings are like energetic vampires.
Mm-hmm.
and they will merge with the surroundings, and if they can hide behind the ones that we like or love and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then we're more likely to have a normal conversation and have the interaction, while at the
Mm-hmm.
same time they're behind the scenes sucking up our energy.
Yeah. Like how they, I'm just curious, is it
Mm.
literally like they could stand behind the person you're talking to, like right behind them, like right next to them? And as you're talking to the person, they're behind it, like feeding off your energy and make stuff like that, or what?
Pretty close. Like they can stand behind the person, or they can literally sort of like even merge with their energy, and you can't notice them. You
Mm.
can't see them. Like, oh, it's like you feel good because you feel safe and good because it's a person you know, you love, you trust, and you don't feel anything off about them.
Yeah.
But as behind that being like merges with them in a way like it's just like camouflage, and
Yeah.
they cannot be seen.
And then they're absorbing your energy with your interaction with the person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. That.
Yeah. Another thing I'm noticing, like I'm scanning like what kind of people are being affected by those, but at the same time, like even if it's online conversation, you can like text or with someone or have a phone call or just like have a chat on Skype and stuff. They know who you're interacting with by picking up your intention, and then it's as if like they're multidimensional, so they can teleport to their being, and
Mm-hmm.
while you're having the conversation, they're gonna be behind the being and still like affect them
Wow.
and still
Yeah.
like keep draining your energy. So like they pick a target, like oh this is our target, and then they will basically watch you 24/7 and see when can they use other people as a camouflage to like make sure like they're not being seen to consume your energy. And it's all mainly through interaction. You have to do something like they can hang on the walls and be in the surroundings, but they're not gonna do anything. They have to get your like interaction or like whenever you open up yourself to the surroundings, like to admire something or to just like oh what a beautiful day. That was like sort of interaction to the outer world,
Uh-huh.
and that's where like hey let's get it.
Yeah.
So any kind of communication, any kind of interaction with anything,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you become open, that's when they're trying to get you.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm real curious about do it when you think it's the right sequence of time, but when they first got into his space
mm,
and why, or what caused or allowed them to get into this his space.
yeah, I can look into it too.
Okay.
Okay, so it's pretty much the moment in life where uh, he makes a decision like hey, I can help people. He has enough information, and now he makes a decision that he's gonna use his tools and abilities to help others. And those gargoyles are more like attracted to that kind of energy. They're like sort of thinking smart, like hey, when people are into helping, then this is the safest moment when we can come in and do that stuff, because now their attention is on helping others, and they're gonna be fully focused on that.
Yeah, they're going to be open to the others.
Yeah, like that kind of helpful energy, and so your focus changes, and that's where those like beings will be like sneaky and come into the other people's lives, and they will not affect others. They will not affect like your lovers or like your kids or anyone else. They will only target you, but they will hide behind the others that you're trying to help, because like this is the best way. Like well, we're just gonna merge with their energy and use them as like you help them, but we're gonna be behind them, draining you. So that's pretty much how they work.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
I was tracking the number, like how many are there. So the number is 61. So like so far like 61 beings are like it's like these gargoyle types. They're like in the surroundings, in the around people and stuff.
Mm-hmm. In his general area.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the general area, because they can be all over the world or whatever. But specifically 61 gargoyles targeting him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working on removing these entities, so I'm using some of my tools like golden shackles and galactic vacuum and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting them one by one.
Okay.
Alright, so I can show you these gargoyles and like make sure that they're going for transmutation, so that all of the energy that they've sucked out and everything that they were taking away will be given back. And with all that, like it's in all that flow, I think these beings were sort of installing beliefs or feeling states like I'm not good enough, or like maybe that his work was not like not going well, that he wasn't like maybe unsuccessful, like failing or whatever. So these were like some of the feelings or thoughts I picked up, like these gargoyles tried to make him feel, or like like just sort of like trying to stop him and stuff. And as I got rid of them and got his energy back, I was like scanning his body, and it's if like there's like an implant, like a battery, and it has like a setting of how much of this energy can be in his body. It's like 22, 23 around there, and if it like goes over like more than that, that energy has to be given away or drained from him and taken away. So it's like he cannot be at 100%. He cannot be himself. And it's only like a little setting of like 22, 23 or so, and all the stuff. So I just like sort of checked at that, and that's the recent thing I found.
Okay, you want to see if you can like turn up the battery or remove it, or I don't know.
Yeah, remove it because it's an implant.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think like it's more of a command picked up during the process of walking, or like getting here on Earth. It's like it's as if like there's a tunnel while you're getting to your vessel, like a body, and try to this like you can actually hear these archons or like controllers, ruler of this place, talking, and it's like there's a command like don't allow this one to go more than 22.
Wow.
Like so like there's a command like like he probably picked it up and subconsciously it's still there. It's still like controlling his life, but like it's not a thing like another like view of how it all works is we like how do we make these soul contracts or different things, and now probably a lot of these things are commands. Like in the process of coming in, you can actually pick up the voices of those talking and programming, or just like making these rules for the being of how they're gonna suppress him, and that's one of the things. Like so, I wanna remove this sort of thing, but also scan the whole process of incarnation, see if there's any more commands or anything like it.
Yeah, earlier similar, same sort of thing in earlier similar lives. A lot of times there's a pattern a being will have. They will be a walking in this life, an earlier life, an earlier life, because it's kind of like what they do kind of thing. And we can look into that too.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was working on removing those commands and like the battery thing and stuff, and I focus like right now on the moment of like coming here, like incarnation or whatever we would call it, and it's as if like that force knocks us out. Like when you're getting into the vessel, the force of coming here is so intense, or something is being done where the conscious being is being knocked out. So like like you're not in your senses, and in the background, these beings, these controllers are like sort of setting up the program for the being to make sure that they don't succeed, and specifically, like I said, working for Jack, it's like making sure that he's Barry, like or like his energy is only 22, he cannot go more than that, and if he does, then it has to be given away or like drained and stuff. Like unsuccessful or like not succeeding at the whole like part, like he can do much more, but you're making sure like they can suppress him, and some are I picked up like like setting people up against him, like making sure that some of them don't like him or go against him or like don't agree, and specifically just like a not supportive. There's not much support and stuff, and quite a few of those commands were like it's just really sets up his life and just like caused lots of issues. So like I was taking care of that, like clearing it all out, and I think I've done enough to where I cleared all the commands I could find, or at least most of them I think, and sort of did reverse programming of like you're successful, you can do it all, you have all the energy, you do as much as you want, like just giving like the positive things, and trying to return into a moment where from all the force of getting into the vessel he's unconscious, so I sort of reversing it and keeping him fully conscious so that none of that stuff would affect him and he would be able to choose what he wants and stuff. So that's what it is so far. We can share your thoughts and stuff and then target something else.
Good. Well, what I was thinking is, it just occurred to me that this may not be the first time Jack has been a walk-in. Some people, that's what they do. Maybe he had a special relationship with the person that walked out, or maybe this is the sort of thing he does, and that gets more of a read. So let's look at some earlier times, perhaps even the first time he did a walk-in on somebody and he had issues. He had interference or interactions with beings that caused him to be limited in some
Are
way.
they picking something up like
Hmm.
in order to enter the body, you have to fit in it. You have to fit the surroundings, the world, the to be in there, and in order to get to that place or the vessel, you literally have to become smaller and shrink and become less. So it's like cutting all of those amazing parts of you out to make sure like, oh, I have to stay here because if you were there your full force, you would affect too much,
Hmm.
and it's not supposed to be like, so it's like playing in a maze and you have to fit in that little thing and you have to go through all of those little places
Hmm.
and it's very tight. Jack, as we were working on it, he would be all over the place clearing everything out. It's not supposed to happen like that. He has to be
Hmm.
like, so that's what I'm picking up so far. Like I can scan more and look into it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Look into it. Look at the some decisions Jack made. Not somebody else doing it to him, but he did it to
yeah.
himself to do the job he wanted to
Mhm.
do. He chose to do. Uh, any limiting beliefs or agreements that he made to be small or less energy. I got too much energy. I got to get rid of some of it.
Yeah.
I got to drain off some. I don't know how that would work specifically. But yeah, look into see what you've got that would be like the earlier similar or the basic on the chain of events that,
Mhm.
of which the current one is locked onto
Yeah.
as a energy repeated pattern sort of thing.
Okay. But now I'm like looking at some sort of construct and I can't tell. It doesn't feel like it's AI, but more like tons of different consciousness parts, like different beings tuning into one. But I can't tell, like, is it AI and a program, or is it like tons of other beings in consciousness and they're tuning into one and trying to create it? But it seems like all of these beings,
Second way, a
y-
bunch of consciousness tuning into one.
yeah. So all of these beings, as they come in, they have their role to play. Like they're creating a universe, a place, like some sort of construct where people can live, civilization can happen, different things, and each of them are responsible for only one thing, like how do people look like, what kind of environment is there, how many planets and stuff like that, and
Kind of
so
like in Greek god mythology, I'm responsible for fertility. I'm the god of war. I'm the god of love. All these different
yeah, like
responsible beings for one aspect of the environment or the universe or world.
yeah. So the concept is the same, and it's as if like all of these beings, the power of consciousness, like there's a lot of them. They're creating like the whole multiverse, but it's like separate, like and they're creating like this is our playground, this is our sandbox, this is what we're gonna do,
Uh-huh.
and there's like different realms, different planets, different like civilizations in each of them, beings, animals, everything in it, and each consciousness can only create one,
One what?
one whatever, like one civilization or race or planet or like however you would like
Yeah,
organize it,
but you only get to create one.
Yeah,
You get it at one thing, and they're all working together, but they're all creating one thing,
yeah.
and then it all fits together, or they all these everybody creates one, and they all off in different areas.
It all fits together. Like like
Mm.
there's like I guess thousands of these beings, and they're creating like okay, 100 of us will be responsible for a planet. You are creating the water or seas or whatever, and you choose how much you want to do it.
I got
All
it
of
now.
us will create mountains, and like each of them will like pick one role and stuff.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is where Jack comes in. He's playing this game. It's gonna be one of like I want to create something too, but he's the consciousness that can create absolutely everything with just one thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to make a conscious decision to take away all of those things to be able to fit only one part.
Take all his abilities away except this one thing,
Yeah,
and his creative ability, and then just keep with that.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So like that's like the first thing I picked up. That was like the biggest read for me, or like just like hunch. And so I want to look into deeper into that, like how does it work, what specifically he got rid of and stuff, or how does he have to fit in. But it's like you can't be all of that. You have to be only one.
Yeah, here's the analogy
Mhm.
is you sign in a bunch of creators of a game world, like a computer game, literally a computer game.
Yeah.
And this guy's his textures, this guy's back art, and this is environments, this guy's motion capture, this guy's skin tones and stuff, and realistic body fighting, and this is guy's. Each person has a part that they create, and they put it all together, and they come out with this great computer game. Jack comes in, he can produce and create everything, and not only that, but faster.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, 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 no. If you want to play with us, you only get to pick one thing. Kind of like that.
Exactly. Yeah. You explain everything much better than me.
Well, we're a team.
Anyway, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I wanna look deeper into it. Like, what was taken away, but it's a conscious decision. Like, I want to fit in, so I'm gonna like reduce this and this and this
Yeah.
to be able to fit in. So that's
Yeah,
Well,
agreeing to
yeah.
downgrade. Or
Yeah, and I'm
So-
feeling like this thing is still going like to the present.
Sure.
However long ago that was, it's still happening to the like the present moment.
Mhm.
Like of us living right now. Like so, however long Jack lived, however many lives he had, that part of consciousness is still active, playing the part, because you create the place and you cannot leave.
Mm.
Or the rule, we have to make it like a thing.
Yeah.
So if he
You're in
was,
it for the long haul.
yeah, pretty much.
It's not over yet. Kind of like that.
Pretty much, like that place is still existing.
Uh-huh.
So I think because of the existence and because of limiting yourself to create it, one has to cancel some of his things that will still affect the present.
Sure.
So like those parts of are gone. So I'll see, like try to get the deeper story or whatever, and like see what I can do about it.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Start.
Um, it's interesting like getting all those details. So like we look at this world and we have like computers. So like, oh, I have a phone, I have a TV, I have a computer and stuff, and everyone's comparing how powerful it is. And so like the world that Jack played in that time, it's like Windows 89 or like 98 and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it's pretty slow.
Uh-huh.
Jack is like the newest D-Wave computer, but like 7 of them together.
Oh,
He's
no.
like super massive creator that can like create everything and foresee all of the outcomes and like different things, and he has those abilities. And now like that place is so little, but like he wants to play, like it's an interesting idea, it's fun, and with that he has to slow himself down and make sure like he takes away all the processing power and stuff to play the game.
Mhm.
So like that's like metaphorically speaking, but like you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Yeah, it's like literally like playing in the world where everything is much slower. Like we're working out and we can move fast enough, but then we pick up weights and they're like weights that you can like put on your wrist, on your body, and like weight a whole lot more, and all of your movements are slower. So
Mhm.
it's like that, but like Jack is massively limited. Like he's like
Mhm.
trying to slow down for others to fit in, and that sort of weight of limitation is still affecting the present. Like even right now, he has those things like shackles, like holding him back on Earth, and so he cannot move at a full speed. Like
Yeah. That makes sense. Hey, let's look at just before this, like what would inspire or cause Jack to even want to play this game. Something was going on before this that, and then he chose to do this. So let's see what was going on before this that maybe was the genesis of it all.
okay, yeah, I'm looking at like Jack being the creator, he can create galaxies, multiverse, everything like really fast, and it's like he's good at it, but he's been doing that for like very long time, and it's like playing alone. Like you don't have anyone that fits your consciousness level. They're not in the
Mhm.
same place, and feeling lonely maybe because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's like being a grown up kid, but always being alone, and there's like a bunch of little kids in the kindergarten playing around,
Mhm.
and like like you feel like, oh, I'll just go have some fun with them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like literally you have to get to their level to play the game, just to like fill out some needs. Like maybe like it would be fun to play with the collective consciousness and just like do something together rather than alone. Because like in the vast multiverse, I don't know, like Jack didn't really beat anyone to his level or that's at the same point, and he
Mhm.
was like maybe thinking that like hey, I can teach them. I can like if I take my time to teach them and give them all these things, they will finally be able to play with me at the bigger level.
Yeah, like an original help flow or desire to help others in a certain kind of way, help create art.
I think so. Like like being the creator, and like these are like small little kids learning how to build Lego houses,
Mhm.
while you are the architect, like and actually building everything in real life.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna teach them about all of those things to the point where they like I get it, and they start like evolution, or like they start getting smarter and better,
Mhm.
and they grow to the point where Jack is right now, so that
Mhm.
they could play the same level.
I got
So that's the original intent, like
Uh-huh.
so that like more beings would be able to play with him,
Mhm.
but he has to get himself down to their level to teach them.
Mhm.
and you know that's I guess the original thing.
Okay. Good. Good. You got a next move? I got some more things I could ask you about this,
Sure.
but you know you have some stuff.
Yeah, you can ask me things like I think about like if I scan more, I want to see what kind of limitations was done, like commands, decisions, whatever, and try to remove them, or at least uh, get Jack out of there, or like do something like to like make sure that sort of mm, stops, like don't affect him to the present right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, uh, moving back to the beginning of the incident where he was inspired to come and play with these other creator beings, and you know tone down his ability, his power, or whatever creative ability. Getting into that space there, scan through the timeline of the phenomena where he may have had his first realization that he's failing to help, that first failed help, because it wasn't that at first, but somewhere in the now, as if I understand it right, he's getting a sense of having failed to help as much as he'd like or something. Is that a thing?
Well, at the personal, I don't know how much of that is happening in the personal life, but that's the thing I picked up from gargoyles. Them trying to program it,
Uh-huh.
or make Jack feel that, and at the same time a few commands of getting here for the vessel.
Uh-huh. Okay, well let's go ahead and scan through that and see if there is a moment or an event within that time, way back then or way off then, out there, where it first occurred that the idea of having failed to help or failed to blend in well and when this turned into this isn't such a good idea after all, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, one of those things like I was kind of like from the present in this present life, then a few past lives back, then the present like I mean like the life where he has to fit in with others, and there's that like I do sense like that failed help because like beings who are choosing only one role or one thing to do, when Jack is encouraging them like hey you can create more than that, and he's trying to teach them, those beings are sort of rejecting the idea because like no I only want to do one thing, I don't want to do more than that, and so all the time spent there and stuff, people don't want to grow, they don't want to do more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where it picks up.
Mm-hmm.
And then previously than that, yeah, give me a second because there's a lot to process.
That?
Yeah, it's like there's quite a few beings who want to play together, and like like hey, it would be great to have if we would have more worlds to play in because this one is fun, but we explore absolutely everything, and Jack can create like more planets and like more places for them, but there's like a few. It's like kids or like like whoever as a consciousness they want to explore and do things, and one is like we just need a few more worlds, and the other one like we need as many as possible so that we would have stuff to do, and so as Jack creates multiverse after multiverse with tons of planets, realms, and different things to visit, all these friends like it's a group like 15, 20 people, and they go to play. And then they get scattered around and lost, and none of them meets each other because
they got lost in their own creations.
Yeah.
Oops. Create a maze. Just a big giant playground. They got a big forest and trees, mountains, and now they're lost in the wilderness.
Yeah, there's so much that all of them like get separated, and now they're like where is everyone? Like,
yeah. Well, do they have any bad feelings toward Jack? You see any of that, or is that not a thing?
No, that is not a thing. Like but more like Jack, like maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Oops.
Like oops, like he kind of like.
I see. Interesting. Yeah.
So I can look for more earlier ones if I see if I can find it, or just.
No, I think that's a good place. I
think so?
Yeah, on this particular issue and subject area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a pause there, and just give a brief overview, and then maybe look at something else.
Okay.
From your perspective, what did we find?
Well, there's like these gargoyle dog-like beings who are hiding behind the people that Jack will want to help, or like be there for them and stuff, like any kind of relationship. So these are the ones that will use other people to just suck your energy and just drain you. So we took care of that.
How?
Hmm?
How did you take care of it?
I use my tools, galactic vacuum, golden shackles, different things, sucking them all up, like just unmarking them, uncreating them, and making sure all of them are transmuted into something better, and everything that was taken away from Jack is now getting back to him.
Cleared out his space, or even if they're not in his space, clear out the connections so they cannot come back and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Uh,
What else? Yeah, just as a review of what we did.
well, then there's like the whole at the beginning of the walk-in when getting the vessel and stuff. That's when Jack gets some of the commands to affect his person's life and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So removing them, like I do the soul contract revocation agreements and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then tracking the past lives where he has to minimize himself to play a role, but that affects him.
Yeah.
And I haven't cleared up that yet. I was just I was going with the other command. What do you say?
Oh yeah. Well, okay, let's do the next step you had in mind.
Okay.
And clear that up. Okay. Stop.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. It's we can imagine all of one's body's past lives, different things, everything that is happening. Put them in a chain, and there's a line and a spike up and down. Every spike up and down is a life or whatever, and the line in the middle is what connects everyone. So somewhere in it all, where Jack decides to play with other beings and teach them, he goes to that place, and this is one of these lives where he takes a place, but it's as if because of those decisions he disconnects the flow, and all of the energy that will empower everything. The full consciousness cannot go through everything, and it stops at one point.
Yeah.
And so all the processes are being stopped, and that's how it still accumulates or affects the present, because all of those other lives will not have the same power system.
Mm-hmm.
They will not have the same energy. They will not have the same speed and computing power or whatever. And so it's as if because of that disconnection, the contact doesn't go through fully.
Mm-hmm.
So I got him out of this place. We created a can't call it an AI, but automatic program that will do all the actions that Jack was doing there in that plane. No one has to take his place or whatever. But we're not destroying the system. We're keeping there. Okay, you guys play around if you want. But Jack is free. We get him to take his beliefs back and take everything back that he decided to stop for a little while, and getting back as if activating the full flow and everything that was the full computing power, creation, everything else, the energy, it goes back and starts flowing and filling up all the other lives. The present.
Oh, it reconnects not just this life, but all through the whole thing. Oh, that's good.
All the other lives that were affected because of that is now back in business.
Good. So, well done.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is there anything you'd like anything more to do, or?
I guess I can go through all these incidents, see if there was anything taken or whatever, and just try to all the energy that was taken away. I just want to give it back. Make sure this present body and all the whole consciousness gets back like a rehab or charge.
Sure. Yeah. Bringing the energy back in. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So it's getting all the energy back and all the life essence and different things and getting it back to Jack, but I also make sure that his body is a walking power plant that produces more energy than needed, and anything that's more than he needs can be given to those around him to empower them and make them feel better. So it's it's never drained, it's never taking out and leaving him without nothing, or taking him and leaving some missing parts. Just always so much that even others can wow, this is so good, so
yeah,
kind of like that.
Good, well done.
Yeah.